So we are talking about seven halal streams of income. I have not mentioned seven sources of income, basically because I am talking about just like a stream. There are different streams which come together and become a river, right? Similarly, I would want everybody to have different streams of income coming towards and joining so that they all form together and become that river flow of income for an individual. So far, our education system has always been targeted towards job-oriented, employee-oriented education. We have not really seen much of, you know, much of education, much of our education, which is focused towards entrepreneurship or manufacturing or other kinds of sectors where people are skill-based, professions. Of course, now there are vocational colleges. Now there are vocational courses also, but those courses are often not aligned with the education system which we have, which is mostly into theoretical, exam-oriented, and which are oriented towards becoming an employee in a company or a government employee, a private employee somewhere in a firm or something like that. So as such, the skill-based environment was not there. So what has happened is, in a pandemic situation like COVID, most of us were educated. Of course, fortunately, people who are in the IT sector, some of them were able to work from home. But even in their offices, they would have seen the other staff, which was not, either they were laid off or they were not unable to work, just plain basically because they could not work from home. They were supposed to be present there physically, and since the offices were closed, they had no work. So ultimately, their salaries were either halved or decreased in whatever proportions they were. Some of them lost their jobs, and it definitely led to a crisis in different situations because they were already dealing with a health crisis in most of the cases. So it affected me also in a certain way. And then I thought over it, how I can identify certain areas where I can earn some income. Even though I'm a pharmacist by profession, I could open a pharmacy, I could go and work in a pharmacy, I could, I had several options available to me. But even for me, it became very difficult because my pharmacy certificate was coming to a renewal state. And since this change was from Andhra Pradesh to Telangana, the newly formed state, and I belong to the new Telangana state, it had to migrate to the Telangana board, so Telangana Pharmacy Council. So what has happened, that process itself would take about a month's time. And that happened during the COVID. And none of the offices were also open. And even though they were open, or online application was being submitted, the pharmacists were not really allowed to come in there for registrations. So ultimately what happened is, now I had to stay put in my home. And I couldn't really work in any of the pharmacies because they would not allow me. They would naturally want my certificate to be available with me, either to open a pharmacy or to work in the pharmacy situation. The other thing was, I was also a manager of operations in a company. Now, having resigned from that job, I really couldn't work anywhere because there were no managers anywhere around in the offices. Of course, I would have to apply again, but how many of the companies would really absorb me as a work from home manager for a new team? That did continue, of course, whatever I could, I did. But all in all, what I felt was, when an educated person, even with a skill and a professional degree like me, is at home struggling to make things, it may be really very difficult for all the others as well. So is there a way I could help them out? Because there were certain things which I could help them. I knew certain doctors who were treating COVID patients. I could help them, fine. But what about the income source? I could see people struggling. I could see my neighbors struggling, who was working in some kind of a construction field, and there were no construction work at all. So I thought about certain things wherein I felt, okay, what are the things which are normally streams of income for us, especially our community in a certain way, basically because our community struggles in several ways, financially as well as socio-economically, I would say. So that led to me to that question of what are the halal streams, because we definitely cannot go for the haram side at all. So what are the limitations which we have, and what are the streams of income which can be created, and are these being really followed by each of us? And if at all it is being followed, then how much time can one dedicate to such a creation of streams, building up of streams, and at the same time sustain those streams so that income really flows in and creates a good income source. Whether you have a job or whether you do not have a job, whether you're working from home or even if the office restart and you go back to the office, but those streams of income will have to be either active or passive sources of income. Active in the sense you would be actively involved in getting that money, actively putting that effort on a daily basis, weekly basis, or a monthly basis, or passively where people would actually go to that through your reference, and you definitely get a part of that share. So I was just looking into all of those aspects, and that's how I came up with just 7 as of now. But that doesn't limit to 7. Neither would it is, I would say, unlimited streams based on how many you create for yourself. But 7 different streams are because different sources also, in a way, sources in the sense from where they start off. So that's how things have come up. Constructed all kinds of buildings, infrastructure, factories, and all those things. But one day they are going to be naturally, the earth is going to come to an end. And that is the belief which we all carry with us, that will come. Having said that, and also having known that this place, Earth, where we are living in, is basically a prison where we'll have to prove ourselves that we are good enough for the everlasting Jannah, the paradise. So while we have that thought at the back of our mind, but no one has prevented us from actually working towards and living a better life, even in this prison, whatever you call it. So what I'm trying to say is, it has been very clearly told to us that once you have offered your prayers on time, you have to go out and search for a living in order to be successful, but not greedy, right? You have to sustain yourself in a better way. You will have to naturally leave behind for your children to a certain extent. And if at all there was a concept wherein we were not supposed to leave anything behind for our children, we were just supposed to live for ourselves and leave this world, then there would not have been very clear instructions of whatever is left, the division of those properties, how it is to be done. It is very clearly described in Surah Baqarah. So basically, Surah Nisa. So as we see, okay. So here is where I was. Like Hukuk Allah is one and Hukukul Ibad is another. Of course, the obligations which we have towards Allah, we will fulfill all in all. But Hukukul Ibad, people who obey and who actually pray to Allah, we also have certain obligations towards them. Whether it is lower income groups, whether it is our relatives, brothers, cousins, neighbors, whoever they are, if they are struggling, then we have sufficient responsibility. We have significant responsibility towards them as well, if we are in a position to help them out, right? So for helping them out, also we need money. So there are certain things which definitely. So now I had just created this kind of a chart for just a simple understanding of what it would cost. Like for a family of 4 people, with the husband and wife and 2 kids, maybe for 3 meals a day, and on an average, just about 1,000 rupees a day. Maybe it goes, it will be quite less or a little more based on where you live and depending on your lifestyle. But on an average, per annum, if I take 1,000 rupees, considering all kinds of economic strata, then it may be close to 3,60,000 on an annual basis. Similarly, clothing. In addition to festivals, some marriages, some functions, and all those things, and regular clothing which we have, For 4 people, if I just put it at 60,000. For shelter, any house which will come not less than 60 lakhs for an independent bungalow, or maybe on a good flat in a good location, and an average location is about 60 lakhs. Education, about if you are giving education in a good school with the tuition fees, transportation, and all those things, then it comes to just about 1,50,000 at least. And for 2 kids, it will just naturally 3 lakhs. Phone, internet, and all that. If an average, if I put all those expenses of electricity, water, and all those together, just about 3,500, and then that would come to another 42,600. What I'm trying to tell here, that even in case of healthy individuals, healthy households, all of them are healthy, but there is some kind of a pain balm, some kind of a cream, some kind of a soap, some medicated soap, some medicated cream coming in, and that is almost costing just about close to 1,500 rupees, which almost translates to about 15,000 on an annual basis. In addition to that, you buy a phone for your kid, probably some other wants, maybe a bike or a bicycle or something. Then all that, I just put it at a round figure of about 1 lakh. Umrah and Hajj definitely is expensive, which is just about, for 4 of them, I just put it at 14 lakhs, but it is somewhere averaging towards that, whether you go through government or through a private operator. Now, out of these, I have bolded 2 of them. One is shelter, that is house, and one is Umrah and Hajj, because usually people buy a house once in a lifetime kind of a situation. As a property, definitely you can, if you have, but in most of the cases, one would like to own a home of their own. And Umrah and Hajj definitely is for only once. If you have the money, definitely go for it. What I'm trying to say is this: if I remove these 74 lakhs, I just put it aside, even then, the entire per annum cost is coming to 8,77,600, which translates to about 73,000 per month. 73,000 per month on an average. Maybe an IT professional would be getting it if he works 8 hours a day in a very good company on an average kind of a job. At a managerial level, maybe it is 1.5 lakhs, or maybe much more beyond that, based on how much he's getting. What I'm trying to here ascertain is, if this is the cost which we are running today, and just expecting it to go with a simple inflation for the next 5 years into 2026, with a simple inflation rate of 10% growth, even though we have seen extreme rise in fuel prices just about 2 days ago, almost from 70s to 100s, which is phenomenal 32% rise. But even if I were to just put it as the inflation rate at 10% over the next 5 years period, what is the expected salaries, which is about 1,09,000. Now, if I again extrapolate it to another 5 years of 2031, it would come to 1,78,000. But we do not know how far those jobs would survive that far. Basically, that was the idea of me showing that hologram and all those things, where the lady not present in Japan could actually send her own hologram via the technology there and speak Japanese and deliver the keynote address to people there on stage, even though she is not physically present. What I'm trying to say here is, even though technologies are coming up so fast, it is slowly eliminating the need for human beings to be present there physically. What I'm trying to say again is, the jobs are going to be cut down, not just because of this, but we all know because of the machine learnings, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, all kinds of things, all kinds of science. This is leading to a situation wherein more and more jobs will be cut. Then where are you going to get those that money from to survive? Because that is the basic minimum, which on today's aspect, which I am extrapolating even till 2031. So we being educated, we being into IT-enabled sectors, are finding it so difficult to understand what are the paradigms which are going to come in front of us. Then what would be the situation about my brother, about my neighbor, who is not so established as of now? And is there a way where we can help them out in any way to look into things? So coming down, I'll just go ahead. So where do we spend usually all of these earnings? We spend or daily, weekly. Of course, we all know food, fuel business, so people and Pulibat. On a monthly basis, water, electricity, internet bill, yearly basis for benefit, zakat, clothes, once in a lifetime, Hajj, Umrah, Ziyarah, and of course, construction of our homes. So I've just segregated them. The first level of first halal stream of income we're coming to is definitely a job or a business, which usually takes about 9 hours of our time. With about 12 to 15 hours, in some cases, people do that extra work and they go ahead with that. But of course, the job would definitely require a lot of honesty, a lot of dedication, being truthful and principled, and all in all, actually, to be useful to the organization itself, right? You may have everything, integrity, and all those things, but if you are not useful enough for the organization, then naturally the organization would not really retain. Career, yes, you will have to. We always think about our career of what is the next step which we are going to go to, which is the next promotion, which is the next, promotion and basic increase in salary, whatever else, and those things are going to come up. But now, looking at job satisfaction, whether you have the job satisfaction or not, again, you think about moving to some other field or maybe some other job in some other company. So all these challenges do come in front of us. We all have to keep ourselves updated. We also have to keep ourselves upskilled, basically, because all the others are also doing the same thing. Now, if you are in an IT-enabled service company or an IT company itself, naturally, you know that you will have to become updated with all the new softwares, new technologies which are coming in. Probably till yesterday, only C or C++ would do. Maybe just PHP would do, maybe just Java would do. But now, yes, you will have to know what Python is, right? So what I'm trying to say is, until and unless you update and upskill, you cannot survive in the job field, right? At the same time, there are certain exigencies which come in, just like pandemic. We never expected it to come so far and so fast, but it just came in and we all were in a fix. So what is ultimate? Ultimately, we will have to provide solutions. We will have to use our knowledge even in our workplaces to actually provide solutions, not only for the company, but for the clients, right? Which will enable the company to retain us for a longer period of time. And naturally, for all of this does involve continuous research and development. So this is the first halal stream of income, which is, of course, already there with us in most of the cases, but some of them also have businesses where they will have to spend about 12 to 15 hours of time in their own business. Now, this is the principal stream of income, which I definitely do not want. If you already have it, I do not want you to forego it and come to some other stream of income. But why we are talking about 7 different streams of income to be created so that we all can pool in all that money and create a river of income stream for you. Okay. So next, in some cases, it may allow some situations, it may allow certain time for you to be able to do a part-time job in addition to a full-time job. People are doing 2 jobs a day, and sometimes a part-time business also. It may be a physical commodity, physical entity, which they try to sell either from home or just go outside for a few hours and try to sell it across, market it across. And some of the smart people are, of course, using e-commerce as a step wherein from home or from a location, they spend about 4 hours or 6 hours of time and definitely do their business, which is a part-time. Affiliate marketing has come into place in a big way. We all probably already know what affiliate marketing is, but just to explain for those of you who may not know, I would like to tell you that if a company has a particular product or a service, and it is trying to give you that, one second. Yeah. If a company is trying to sell a product or a service, then, and you have approached it and you are a customer from that company, and then you have the whether you are a customer or not, but you have the option of actually recommending that product or a service to another client or another customer. What I'm trying to say is, it is some kind of a referral program. Like I know somebody and I refer, your product or your service, I recommend it to my friend. My friend may actually like your product or service and he may become your customer. But you, because I have signed up with you as an affiliate partner, you share a part of your income through that sale to me. Now, some of you may say, but you are actually just suggesting to him. Yes, but I have given him the review about the product. I have given you the lead. Otherwise, my friend would not know, right? So I'm trying to do some kind of a marketing part of it. And I have become an affiliate and I'm earning through him. So basically that way, this is a second stream of halal income, which is being created in most of the cases, especially Amazon affiliate and Flipkart, Myntra, and all these people do have, all these companies do have an affiliate programs. Of course, it's slightly difficult to sign up, but most of the other companies, also some software companies, do have an affiliate program with that. If you check on the website, you will definitely find some kind of affiliate program or associate program there available. Drop shipping, yes. I don't own a store. I don't own I don't own a physical location where I do business from. But yes, I know there is an order coming in. Somebody would require a certain particular product. They approach you, and you don't buy anything. You don't sell anything. You just forward that lead to a person who can deliver that product or service. Right? Deliver in the sense that particular company or that particular shop would deliver on its own to the customer who wants it. So dropshipping has become a big source of income for also most of the people. Facilitation, yes, you facilitate people in certain situations, like people, for example, old people cannot go to the hospital on their own. If you create on a part-time basis or a second halal stream basis, where you actually help them out, you remind them about their doctor's appointments, probably take them in a cab, you provide service to them, you facilitate certain things for people who are in need, and that could definitely become another stream of income for you. Logistics, yes. Since there is a lot of e-commerce going on, if you own a bike or a car and you on a basis get affiliated to and associated to with a logistic company itself or some other company which is in need of people who can deliver their goods to certain places. So in such situation also, you can generate part-time halal income through that stream. New niche market segments also are there. It depends on how you go about it. Honesty and dedication, career satisfaction, update, upskill, truthful and useful. Of course, all these things which are there in a job situation where all integrity, honesty and all those things definitely play a role wherever you are, whether you own a business or you do a job. Now, coming to the third halal stream of income is a stock market investment or a physical commodity investment. Now, there are two things we are here. First, I'll cover what stock market investment would really look like. It is slightly small, I guess. 1 second. Let's see. So, shares, yeah, investment in stock market. I think most of you are doing it. I don't know how many of you are doing it. About shares in stock market, which are let me go with shares. Shares are what? A hissa. It is halal basically because you are becoming a part, an entity of the company's investment itself. Like you are the investor there. You are investing your own hard-earned halal money into it, and you are trying to get halal income, the profit, a share of that profit. So whatever you own, the share, it is called a share basically because it is a share of that company, even though you may be like one among 1 crore shareholders, but that 1 crore part is your investment. And whatever profit is there, if it is 10 crores, then you will get those 10 rupees from that as your halal income. When it is, all of those costs are met and taxes are given, if the profit is coming to say about 10 crores or 100 crores, then if those 100 rupees would come to you as a halal source. Now, the technical aspect into it, which has to be looked into, is how many of shares are halal and how many are haram. Now, we know shares are basically belong to certain companies, right? They are equity. So if a company is actually allotting shares, like if you go to a stock exchange, whether it is a Bombay Stock Exchange, there are more than 8,000 companies, almost 7 to 8,000 companies listed, whether it is National Stock Exchange, there are a little less are listed. But all in all, you will have to see whether those companies actually do business in a halal. What is a halal? Well, the products have to be halal, naturally. So if I take Tata Motors, for example, what is the product? Automobile. Automobile is a halal product, right? So can I invest into Tata Motors? I'm sorry to say no. Why? Basically because it is Sharia non-compliant. Why do we call it as Sharia non-compliant? Basically because there is so much of debt on Tata Motors today. They have taken loans, they have lent from the banks, and they are, of course, they are giving products and services. They are making money. They would be making a lot of profit. But at the same time, all that profit actually is coming mostly from the haram sources, basically because it is interest money. They are giving that interest to the banks. So your investment into an entity itself where it is haram is actually in all put together, overall it is haram. So what I'm trying to say, in the case of Maruti Suzuki, for example, Suzuki has invested and it is a major shareholder. They are more than 10%, right? So, but they have invested their own money. They have invested, they have not taken loans, they have not taken, they are not due to anybody, and they are making products, they are making the same similar automobiles, and they are selling that. So in that passenger car segment or whatever segment they are in, they are investing their own money and reaping profits. And if you are buying their share, you are a part of their share, and which is Sharia compliant because they don't have anything due or anything to pay to anybody. And whatever is being earned by that company is absolutely halal and compliant. So in certain situations, even though the product and the service is halal, we will not be able to invest into that. And that kind of a study is definitely important, and it is required before investing into any company. Just because some company just sells halal products or halal services does not mean that we can invest into that. That is the point which I want to make. Debentures, of course, definitely are haram, basically whether they are convertible, fully convertible, partially convertible, non-convertible, because they attract us a fixed rate of interest. Interest is haram, basically whether it is today, tomorrow, whenever they are going to give. That is fixed, and that is an interest-based economy. So the debentures definitely are haram. Trading in futures and options, you're trying to predict something about future, and you're trying to see what options you have in that futuristic thinking. Naturally, future and options is definitely haram because it is not based on reality, true figures there, which are present. Now, you could be an investor or a trading person, right? What is the difference between an investor? Like I invest, say, about 10,000 today, and in probably Tata Steel. Okay, steel is a core sector industry, and if Tata Steel does not have any other dues or debts, bank debts or anything, then it is a Sharia compliant stock. If it is Sharia compliant, and if I invest into that, say 10,000 rupees, and just leave it there about 5 years or 10 years time, and naturally the share value based on its performance would increase probably to twofold or threefold, and that is when I'm taking out the money after say 5 years or 10 years, then I know multiplicity factor will definitely come across. So I get a good share of income from that share because I have been an investor. I have not been trading into that. Now, what is a trading? Now, trading is when on a stock market portal, like on a daily basis, you look into what you have purchased certain stocks of say about 5 different companies which are Sharia compliant. Let us assume 5 company stocks which you have purchased, and you have been investing again on a monthly basis, or probably on a quarterly basis, or on an annual basis. You are investing substantial amounts of sums of money into Sharia compliant stocks. But on a daily basis, you are having a look at how each of them is performing. At the same time, on a quarterly basis, if they are non-compliant or compliant on the basis of Sharia, whether they are Sharia compliant or Sharia non-compliant. So when you are a trading person, probably you have three things which you will have to look into at the entry point. Is the point at which the actual stock is right now selling, or is being, what is the current value? I would say the correct value of the share on the stock market. When you see that, okay, when you say Reliance is at about say 700 plus, that means 700 is the price of one share of Reliance we want to buy. So that is the entry point which you are entering in to either invest, when you are trying to invest. So you have to create a target point. Target is that you may be investing 10,000 rupees, so you will have to buy at that point itself. But in case you have already bought those shares and now you want to sell those, when you are trying to sell those, what is happening is there are two more things which you will have to look into. One is the target price and one is the stop loss. Now, what is the target price? Target price is something wherein if it is at 700, right, and you have a target price that today by 3 p.m. before the stocks close, if it reaches from 700 to 715 rupees, then that is the target price which I want to sell. Beyond 715, even if it goes 720, 725 by the end of the day, you're not bothered, but you want at least 715 rupees to come per share back to you. Now, that is the target price which you set. But at the same time, if the stock falls, Tata Steel stock, suppose example, it falls down below that 700 mark, then at what point do you want to exit? Are you willing to lose all the money which you have invested? Absolutely no, right? So you will have to put up a stop loss wherein below 700, probably 695 or 690. If it goes below 690, sell it off. So there will be naturally people looking down below there. They'll be waiting for that trough to come in where it falls down. And that is when they would want to buy those stocks. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you are a tradesman, you're a trading person, then on a stock bourses, you will have to be looking into these three basic points on a daily basis and invest some time, probably 1 hour or 1.5 hours, even during travel time. Probably if you are in a day shift from home, you start off probably in a cab or something. Of course, not on a bike or a self-driven car. But if you are going through, say, a cab to the office, you definitely have time to go through all the stocks and probably set up some trading values there, and you can sell or buy certain stocks. At the same time, now, whenever the market crashes, people usually lose a lot of money. That is what they tend to see. But people who have the money actually see it as an opportunity to buy stocks, because they have reached the lowest possible values, and that is when they are easy to buy. So they buy those and just wait there. So basically, investors, rather than tradesperson, even tradesperson actually, they buy those stocks at lower values and wait for that rise again, which will come back slowly but steadily and surely. So they would wait for that. So in that situation also, what I'm trying to say is, when the market crashes, that is the time when you buy those stocks, and when it goes up, it is naturally that is maybe with a profit you sell it off. Okay. Now I have listed out certain halal industries here. Of course, textile, cotton, leather, chemicals, food industry, coal, iron, and steel. And there are certain haram things also which we will have to keep into account, like banks, because they attract interest, hotels, because most of them actually, whoever are listed are definitely big hotels which also serve certain products to their customers. Airlines also serve alcohol. Alcohol-based industries, breweries, drugs, narcotics, all those companies definitely are for all of us, and most of them, whichever are listed. So, why all this is because you should not put all the eggs into one basket. Which I'm trying to say is, you will have to invest some into equity, maybe some for long-term investment as an investor, and some into certain instruments wherein you get sufficient profit after a substantial amount of time, and you keep on trading some stocks on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And at the same time, yeah, the old age which saying which goes like make hay while the sun shines. Basically, when if you have a lot of money with you, then when it drops, you definitely have to buy the stock so that because the sun is shining that time and values are at low level, and you buy them and keep it there. Definitely, you will be able to earn good income. So this is a halal stream of income which can be created if invested in a planned way uh, with a small amount of money on a regular interval. If it is invested into stocks, then definitely that would be an additional source of income, which for I would say not most of us do not have that kind of source of income. So if you open a demat account with some kind of a stockbroker, but definitely see that the stockbroker is investing into Sharia compliant stocks, because that you have to have that knowledge and do not give the authority to that person or that company or that firm to actually invest on your behalf. Because we hear a lot about SIP, right? Structured investment protocol, but the SIPs actually have to be Sharia compliant. So if they are from banks, then actually they may not be Sharia compliant, because he may be taking money from you on a regular basis. But even though you know which company he is investing into, because he will be naturally working on what you advise him, and he would also be giving tips. But at the same time, who's going to benefit most? The most of the benefit would be siphoned off by the bank itself. So you would have to be very careful about. Now coming to the other aspect in stock market, like intraday, like within a day, whatever you do by taking, again projecting what are the futures and option spaces is haram, basically because you would be taking loan in large sums of money from the bank, and in addition to your own funds and investing there to make a lot of money within that day. And if it suffers a loss, then naturally you will have to repay that loan on the basis of an interest, with the interest to the bank. And that is what is not advisable at all, basically, because that is wrong. This is a basic overall view which I'm trying to give you. But there are certain organizations, like for example, one is in Mumbai, we have one in Hyderabad, and other places also, which actually work towards only Sharia compliant stocks investment. And for you, I would give you the good news that out of the 6,000 or 7,000 plus companies which actually trade in the stock exchanges at Mumbai, whether it is Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, NSE or BSE, there are about 1,500 companies which are Sharia compliant. So you have a lot of long list of companies wherein you can invest your money of whatever you have, to generate a third source of income on a daily basis or even on a long-term basis. Now, coming to the fourth halal stream of income, I always tell that आधा हैदराबाद पीछे पड़ा हुआ है बाकी आधे को बेचने के लिए. So it's like almost everybody who's come, especially people who are NRIs, who have either come back to make a living here to our home country, and or even those people who are actually working there are investing huge sums of money into real estate here. Fine, that's good. But what is happening is, do they really have the knowledge of how to invest? As an NRI, what are the documentation which is required? As the Indian citizen, resident Indian citizen, whether you have all the knowledge of what are the local laws which are present, whether you can really, if you take a plot of land, are you really able to construct a house there and live there? Now, there are certain things whether even companies or firms which are selling those ventures, whether they are legally, do they have any standing, or how to see that, and how to buy a good plot, because it definitely involves substantial amounts of money which have to go through your pockets to them before you really own a piece of land or a house, right? Even an apartment or anything. So basically what I'm trying to show here in this slide is that Yeah, there are certain things I would just touch upon the lease aspect, long-term lease or rehan, which we call. People give a lump sum amount of money to a house owner who is in need of money, and they go and stay there in that house. Do not pay the rent, but will repay that amount in a certain specified period of time, which is naturally allowed. But if you are paying that substantial amount of money to that owner, the landlord, and he vacates the house, you are not supposed to earn an income out of which by renting it out to somebody. Sublease is not allowed basically because that would be coming into some kind of interest, because that is a fixed amount of income which is coming through on a monthly basis on the amount which you have given, which you are taking it from the landlord's property. So it is somebody else's property which you are trying to earn out of. That is not your own. Okay, so now coming to the fourth halal stream of income. Now, for example, if I'm talking about Hyderabad, because I live in Hyderabad, fine. So GHMC, for example, the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation has its limits. Coming to DTCP. DTCP is Directorate of Town and Country Planning. DTCP layouts, you must have seen this term coming up for most of the people who are from Hyderabad. They would know that in the outskirts, beyond the limits of Hyderabad, and even beyond the limits of Hyderabad Metropolitan Development of Hyderabad, HMDA, which is almost encircling Hyderabad 30 kilometers radius. So even beyond that, when you go, then there is a Directorate of Town and Country Planning which controls the ventures there, which are plots of land. You know, it's a large piece of land which is being bifurcated into small portions of land so that people can buy. The roads are being laid, the sewerage systems are being laid, the electricity and electrification, everything is being done. And that venture is being sold to people in and around Hyderabad, even abroad, in NRIs, everywhere, right? So if it comes under DTCP jurisdiction, then you have certain norms. You will have to have, that venture has to have certain width of the roads which have Now, even beyond, when you go to the rural areas, most of the gram panchayats, which we call, they are the local governing bodies there. They have their own layouts. They are present, and they, whenever you want to buy a large piece of land, probably for agriculture or in certain purposes, they have all those records there. Why I'm putting all these terms and terminology here is basically to make you a little aware of these terms that you will have to check whether they have come under the purview of which organization, and likewise whether they conform to those limits. So you could go to each of their websites also and check whether the venture which is being sold to you, the plot of land which is being sold to you, and in or around whatever development has been done by them, by the company there, the proper roads have been laid out, the proper width has been given. Otherwise, tomorrow what would happen is probably either they would blacklist that venture, that it cannot be sold, or they can also go for a road widening because specified conditions were not met by the company. So what is the most important criteria to know whether the company or the plot of land which is being offered by the plot of land which is being offered by a real estate company really valid, really good enough to buy? There is something called, at least locally here in the Telangana state, there is something which is called as a layout permission number. When the structure of the layout with the bifurcation of the huge piece of land has been done into simple plot areas, probably about 200 or 300 based on the size, and that layout has been prepared and submitted to the government. The government takes a look into it and sees whether it comes under the HMDA purview or the DTCP purview, and will check whether it has conformed to all the specifications which are given there, and then give the layout permission number. Now, layout permission number is almost like an answer to 1,000 questions. So if a company is offering you a layout with an LP number, that means, and you check that LP number online, and all the details pertaining to that real estate company come to you, and whoever is the authorized signatory, while giving the money, while taking the receipt for the money, and all of those things, you will have to check whether you're giving your money to the right person. And if that LP number is correct, then naturally, safely, you can go ahead and purchase that. Yeah, we were talking about real estate. So Real estate, finally, what I want to tell you, whether you want to live in a house and you want to buy a house, an apartment, or a piece of land to construct your own house, or you want to take it as an investment just so that you can sell it off later when you need the money. Definitely, real estate is definitely one of the major growth areas where you can actually generate a good income over a period of time if you are an investor, right? Okay. The fifth source of income, the halal source of income, is enable others to do business, right? So this is a very different kind of a scenario which I'm bringing to you, especially because most of you are from the IT sector as well. Probably you all are doing it right now. Some of them are actually doing it actively. But I would suggest that if you have not started it, probably do it in a small way, but in a good way. This is going to definitely not just build your dunya, but also your akhirah. This is that is the small pattern which describes there that when God blesses you financially, don't raise your standard of income living, but raise your standard of giving. So a standard of living, of course, because you've got a lot of money now coming in, you can definitely increase your standard of living, but also whatever you were giving previously, just increase that standard of giving as well. Because that is going to make your akhirah and earn you that valuable currency, which will be definitely useful at the end of everything. Now, okay. Now, what am I trying to tell here about enabling others to do business? You may say, who are these others? Others may be your relatives, maybe one of your brothers, nephews, or nieces, or anybody is trying to do some kind of a business and they are struggling for finances. You have certain amount of money with you and you can help them out, but not on the basis of interest naturally, but on the basis of sharing profits. But again, there is a but here, a big but, with minimum expectations. Because in our community, I have seen people have taken a lot of aid. For example, there was due to heavy rain, you've seen flood coming into the city of Hyderabad after a very, very long year. Bunds have broken, dams have broken, and a lot of the water came into houses, and many of them had to suffer. Now, there were several people, several organizations, several NGOs which were trying to help these people. They were giving them ration, they were giving, some of them were giving cash, some of them were giving all of these things. But all of that, which looked was temporary, wasn't it? How many days would 1,000 rupees last with them? How many days? Probably they would collect ration from 3 or 4 people, 4 organizations, fine, maybe 5 also. It would last another 5 months. But just surviving for 5 months, is it enough? How would they pay their bills? How? So what I'm trying to say here, if somebody is probably just selling bananas, fine, okay. Now financially, probably he could not really invest into taking much of stock, because on a daily basis, if he makes a living of about 500 rupees or 300 rupees, he is always thinking about how I can make more money, but he cannot reinvest much of that money back into his own business. If you can help him probably own his cart, maybe he's taking that cart on a rent on a daily basis and paying about 150. Maybe there's an auto wala who is doing that. Maybe somebody else who is doing small professions of their own, but they are not able to own to facilitate themselves to do business because they don't have the infrastructure to do that. So if you can help them out, but on a basis of profit sharing only. Now, having said that, how are you going to rely on that person, right? You may say, okay, I'll pay that, but if he doesn't pay, so that is where you come into the picture. I know it is difficult. I know it is slightly offbeat, which I'm talking about, but if you can invest, say, just about 10 to 15 minutes of time, understand their difficulty, and help them out and tell them that this is one-time investment and you will have to give a share of the profit to me, retaining a major sum with you, but giving back to me a small sum, right? Suppose, don't fix an amount, but you just let them know that if you hire 500, you retain some amount, whatever is good enough for you, and you give me a small portion of that. But you will have to follow up on a daily basis. You will have to be behind that person to be successful. He may have several ideas coming up. You may have several ideas coming up for him. But are you really trying to help them out? Because truly, this is where hukukul ibad, which I was talking about, is coming into place. Because if somebody else is suffering and you are capable of helping them and you're not helping them, then naturally you are committing a sin. But at the same time, if you're helping them out and you're seeing to it that they succeed and they are successful, at the same time, you get in return some income out of it. You also get that satisfaction that you have helped him, he has helped himself, and he has done well, and that will definitely become a sawab jariyah for you. And that is basically what I'm trying to say. Now, this is what I'm not talking about sadqa, fitra, zakat. No, I'm not. Because sadqa, fitra, zakat are hukuk Allah, part of hukuk Allah, right? You have been suggested to give sadqa. Probably you don't have, there is somebody who is ill. So it is best to give sadqa for that illness to go and become healthy. Wonderful. But who has suggested that? Naturally, it comes from as a commandment from Allah Subhanahu Ta'ala. So what we are trying to say is, for a sawab jariyah, not just for the sake of sawab jariyah, but to help somebody out and complete that hukukul ibad part of your, your obligation. I would definitely, I would welcome all of you to just spend some time. I would expect all of you to spend some time, think it over, allocate some amount, search for the person. He would be just somewhere just very close to you, maybe your neighbor, maybe your relative, of course, a close relative, because that's the first person you will have to help him out. Whether it's your brother, sister, cousin, anybody. You just search and help him out to do their own business properly, so see that they will be able to, again, return back a part of that amount. You will have to follow up. You will have to, because even in asking them to, what kind of a difficulty they are facing, and you would be trying to help them out, they would definitely feel, okay, he is interested in whatever I do, and I have the obligation of returning back because he has helped me out, he or she has helped me out in doing this business. So he would definitely come back to that profit, of course, to share. So this is 1/5 the stream of income, which also has a portion of the, sawab jariyah coming to you as long as you live and even live. Okay. The 6th halal stream of income, which is a major thing again, is invest in others' businesses. Now, this is slightly different from what I talked about. Enable others to do business, because people were struggling to do business and you are enabling them to do business. But this is investing into other businesses which are already successful. You may be having a friend who owns a gym. He wants to open another gym, and you have substantial amounts of money with you, and you can give probably some share of that money which is trying to open a gym. Probably it costs about 50 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, whatever. You have a substantial amount of money which you can give and become that part of the shareholder within that business, right? So, for example, my cousin owns a gym, and he is a partner with his friend. Now, both of them are colleagues. So, wonderful. Why not? So, what I'm trying to say is, see within your team, within your people, within your friends, colleagues, relatives, who can actually have, who already actually have such businesses, and where you can actually share your income and generate a lot of wealth from those businesses and share amongst you. I've just listed out a few of them: food, clothing, shelter. Of course, that always becomes the basic essentials where they can invest. Home gardening has become a new way of investing. Healthcare, R&D, network marketing, alternative medicine, Ayurveda, and all that have become a trend these days. Renewable energy, of course, solar, wind, ocean, electrical energies, which are the fuel of the future, I would say. And organic farming, hydroponics. Of course, if you know, hydroponics is basically only water. The soil is not involved. They mix nutrients into just the water, and that is circulated all across with minimum soil actually required there. In fact, no soil. I've seen several of those hydroponic farms, and no soil is actually involved, and they grow best quality organic vegetables, leafy vegetables, and all those things in those farms. There are certain, these are newer areas which people are getting into. Because if you see, the pandemic has left everybody affected. Okay, and now it has also affected farming to a major portion. Now, when it has affected farming as well, today you are seeing umpteen supplies of food, whether it is onions, potatoes, everything, all kinds of vegetables and fruits. But tomorrow is when you will come to know whether they were actually, in the fields doing farming, because if the yield of the subsequent crop is going to come in, whether they have certain, farmers actually working there at all. So we don't know. We should not be in a shock that there will be shortage of food supplies, because already there are certain artificial food supply shortages which are being trying to be created in order to constrict us from all those resources which we have. So we will have, and they are shooting up. Prices have been shooting up. Like you've seen edible oil shooting up. You've seen other grains shooting up as well. So what I'm trying to say is, farming is a very good option in future where to invest. If somebody owns a farm, if somebody is planning to open a farm or anything, that is one of the areas where we can do. I have listed out a lot of them here. Education, yes, online education, offline education. Offline, of course, right now it may not be possible for most of the cases, but online education, yes. If you are skilled in particular language, why don't you record videos and sell it online? Why not? It need not be a live webinar like me sitting in front and doing it. You record the webinars. I can give you a link for a learning management system. You can always use that, or any other learning management system where you can actually sign up into and have those recorded videos placed there. And it is another passive source of income. You write a book. If it is a good book, it sells well. It can be published as an ebook on Amazon. It can be a paperback on Amazon, all for free, right? So you can do that kind of a research and generate passive income for yourself. The book will be selling, right? Maybe a new edition may have a new chapter, which has to be written by you. But other than that, there's not much of a difference. A book once published is a book, right? That's all. And it will be generating as sales go on. You would be getting your share of profit of it, or your share of royalty, right? So that's another source of it. And providing solutions, yes. Why am I talking about all of this? Basically because the ultimate goal of any profit-making venture is that you have to actually see the problem which they are facing and provide a solution. If you are able to do that, if you are able to see what is the problem being faced by that person, it may not be your customer or client, it may be a friend, it may be a stranger, and you feel, yeah, I have a solution for this problem, then you can always go ahead and provide the solution, and it becomes a source of income for you. Spirituality has become, probably, of course, I'm not a Hafiz Alim or anybody, but it has become another source of income for most of the people. Maybe you're a Hafiz Alim or anything, and you offer solutions, right? You people have problems, people have certain things which they want to discuss with you, and they want to know what is the solution of their problem, whether it is religious, spiritual, or whatever. And if you are able to provide those solutions, why not? Definitely, that's a source of income as well. Digital products, yes, there may be a software, so there may be an add-on software, there may be a package, maybe just like social media marketing, or maybe you have created some other course where you just show them how to create some kind of a template. Why not? Digital products, they sell like hotcakes. Yeah, we have entered into a gig economy. Why I'm telling all of these sources of income is because this sixth halal stream of income which we are talking about is invest into other businesses and create our own business as well. Like, for example, you create a gig. Oh, yeah, I can do a video editing for you for say $5. Maybe on you're on some kind of a website like Fiverr.com, which is very famous, right? You're offering a service. You create a video of your own with your cell phone, and you put it there. That for $5, you're going to create a 1-minute video for somebody, and you can edit a 1-minute video. And if somebody wants an video to be edited, they will definitely offer it to you, and you get your $5. So what I'm trying to say here is there are umpteen opportunities which are available today, which were not available yesterday or the day before. And you can cash on those to create different streams of income which would come into your kitty. And you have that huge river where you can source, and that resource can be so useful not just for your present, but also for the akhirah. So you can create multiple streams of income. It may not be limited to 7. It may be 70. It may be 700. I don't know how many are possible. But why 7? Is because you can monitor 7 on a daily basis, and that is what I was trying to tell you. I'll just show it to you once I have completed this. So, okay, the 7th one is monetize hobbies. Yes, this is where we haven't touched before. Now, I have bolded here archery, equestrian, that is horse riding, and swimming. Why have I bolded here? It is because it is as per Sunnah. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has suggested that, has not suggested, in fact, ordered each of the Muslim, the Ummah, every Muslim, to actually learn archery, horse riding, and swimming. So if you look into that, then you will have to know all of these. And if you are good at it, if you learn and if you become good at it, you can always teach them. So, and it becomes your hobby, right? It becomes your hobby. You tend to teach others as well. It can become, and you can monetize those topics in the sense you can charge them a fees to teach them once you learn them. Similarly, we'll probably, people already are doing like that. Of course, in the music may not be suggested here naturally, but painting to a certain extent where naturally human figures or living figures are not involved, but painting in some abstract, philately, stamp collections and all those, which were a hobby to you previously, but now you can monetize. You must be seeing some kind of ads about coin selling online, right, on Amazon or some other website as well. They're telling you, okay, if you have this kind of a coin, rare coin, and this is what the amount of money which you are going to get. Maybe because your old collection, which was a hobby for you, can actually monetize for you. You may be good at cooking. Fine. You want to have others to also taste whatever you cook. You can. One of my friends actually did, and he does, in fact, on weekends. Basically, within his community where he lives in the US, he just sends a message across that if anybody would want to have any kind of a dish out of, he cooks all kinds of Moroccan, Persian, Mughalai, and all those things. And he just puts across in the US, and 1 or 2 orders just come into his kitty. And then what he does is he goes there into the grocery store, buys all those goods, buys a little more, so that when he cooks, naturally a portion of it can be retained for his own family. So out of the profit which is charging, or money which he's charging, a part of it naturally is reinvestment, but his family is getting food for free, good quality, and he's also serving food to others, which is naturally a neki. So it is a hobby. He very naturally he sends across a lot of videos about those things, which means he has that passion to do that and give it, and passion to actually serve others in that way. Design, yes, to a design, to pottery, for example. Maybe I just have mentioned the picture here. Writing, translation, you're good at writing. I just mentioned that as a book. You could probably write a book. You could translate, give service to others. If it is a hobby, right, your hobby, and you can, any other hobby also, which is halal, definitely, which can be impacted as 7 streams. Now we have converted 7, we have listed out all of those 7 streams. Now here I've just put up out of the 24 hours. Of course, this doesn't mean that you'll have to, work on those 7 streams all through the 24 hours. It's just bifurcated it for our understanding. The first thing is the part-time job or business, which actually takes about 4 hours of time. Your actual job, probably in a company or your business, which takes about 9 hours of time. And then stock market investment daily, if you spend about a couple of hours for your investment which you have made into the stock market. If it is not possible for on a daily basis, probably on a weekly basis, just to check how much money you can make, or you can actually buy more stock or whatever you can do with your money. Monthly and yearly for all those slightly short-term investors and long-term investors, when on a yearly basis you look at the stocks, whether they're moving upwards or not. Then and what is the performance of the company, whether they are still Sharia compliant or not. Then real estate investment, definitely. Real estate will boom and it will continue booming as long as people require food, shelter, and clothing. And shelter is the second one which is there. So definitely a land, house, flat, anything. People just invest into real estate and just again resell it about a couple of months later and get good returns. So if you have that kind of money, then definitely it can be done. Affiliate marketing, as I told you, Amazon, Flipkart, and other companies. I have mentioned here daily 2 hours, but I don't think it really requires 2 hours of time for affiliate marketing. But yes, in case you are reviewing some products and you want to put your review there, or in case you are suggesting certain products which are specialized in your groups, that this is a product which I have either bought or which I have studied thoroughly, and this is very good, and in case you want, you can buy it with your naturally your affiliate link. And if he goes there and buys it, the probability seems a little low, but definitely you may be influencing few of your friends, your relatives, or somebody who may be interested in that product and who would definitely go and buy that. That is one. You can definitely use your social media platforms, or WhatsApp groups, or anything, WhatsApp business, for either affiliate marketing or selling a product or service from other businesses also. Like I have a couple of products from some other companies. Those firms produce that product, and I'm just a reseller. So I just put that into my WhatsApp business account. And once in a while, I just post some new things about it, about the product or something. And 1 or 2 orders come in, I just try to serve them. So that is one sector which you can look into, which doesn't really require much of the time. And if you are in collaboration and if you have talks with some kind of a logistic agency, locally, like in Hyderabad, you have done Zoho, you have chotavita.com and all kinds of good funny names which are coming up for logistic company which deliver locally, either through bike or any other means. Definitely you can sell products or services which are needed by people and who would want to pay when it is coming directly to their head. Monetize hobbies, yes, we have seen all of those 7 just now. Archery, Christian, swimming being the priority there. Helping others with a source of income, this is an important thing which you will have to look into. Now coming on to returns. All along, I've been talking about investment to that, investment to this, enable them to do business, enable a friend to do business, spending time, all that is fine. But where are the incomes coming from? Yeah, so I've listed out all of the incomes which are coming from those 7 streams of income. One is job or business, definitely. On a monthly basis, when you file your GST taxes, you would definitely come to know how much you made during that month, the previous month. Monthly, of course, also from the job, because you get your salary probably at the end of the month. Part-time job or business can be daily. Yeah, if you are actually working part-time somewhere, and he may be paying you on a daily basis. And from your business, definitely the profit will be coming into your own hands. So you know how much you've made on that very particular day. Stock market also on a daily basis. Yes, if you are a trading person and you want to trade stocks on a daily basis, you definitely know how much money you're making on a daily basis. Real estate investments, I have put it here as yearly. Basically, registrations. If you are registering it on a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis, probably there's going to be an additional tax which has already been placed by the government. So you would not want to attract more tax. The value of that property may or may not increase immediately for that. So I think we are going beyond time. I'll just be ending with that last slide. I'm just brushing up again. Affiliate marketing, which I have already showed you. Hobbies, yes, how you can monetize hobbies. I've just put it in here on a monthly basis. It could be on a daily basis. Maybe you're making some kind of a painting which may be selling daily, which may be monthly. But even if you sell at least once in a month, that is definitely adding stream of income. Previously, you were doing only a job or a business, but I have listed out 6 more things which you can do, which can add. Now, each of these categories of income, each of these streams of income will have multiple streams which can be created, which you will have to see and check your niche in the sense, your segment, your passion. You have to be really passionate about, and that is where you will have to look into and do things. I definitely can, in the bonuses which I share with the people who have signed up, I would be sharing a certain document also, which will help you identify your niche and see how you can build up. But always, definitely, and just those 7 things again, which I have highlighted here. With the number of hours which you invest, this can vary. Naturally, it may not be, but of course, job and business may require 9 to 12 hours of your time. But all the other things are not mandatory to be requiring so much of time at all. I think this is what it is. And if you have any questions of whom to go to, how, when, where, why, what, don't forget me. I'm always there at your service. You can leave a message on WhatsApp, Signal, or Telegram. The same number exists for all of my things. And since this session is through my YouTube channel, which is elearnconcepts.in at Gmail, you can just put me across a few words. I'll try and see how best I can help you out with that. And each of these streams, while creating each of these streams, also I can be of help. So don't hesitate to come to me, and I will be more than happy to help you. Thank you, JAZAAKALLAHU KHAIR. And I just wanted to share one last, actually ending with a share. पसीने की स्याही से जो लिखते हैं अपने इरादों को, पसीने की स्याही से जो लिखते हैं अपने इरादों को, उनके मुक़द्दर के पन्ने कभी कोरे नहीं हुआ. So basically, if you really write your intentions with the ink of your sweat, right? Yeah. So when the sweat is the ink of your intentions, and you write with that, then naturally the further of your destiny will not remain black. Right? Definitely there will be something written on it which will be rewarded. So may Allah reward you with goodness. Jazakumullah khair.